Yo, what's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be going over the NBA slate on DraftKings and Yahoo for Monday, February the 4th. We got a 6-game Monday slate. I'm going to go through each position, talk about some of the guys that I like on this 6-game slate, work our way through the player pool, and then I will give my 5 plays for DraftKings and Yahoo, 5 guys that I like specifically for each site. Before we do get started, though, I would appreciate it if you would drop a like on the video, and if you are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below so that way you don't miss out on any of my new videos. Starting off at point guard today, we do have James Harden at the top of this position. He's 12,900 in a matchup with the Suns. Obviously a really good matchup for Harden, but I've been saying this for most of my videos, these last few videos where Harden's been on the slate. I just really don't want to pay this price tag for him when Chris Paul is healthy. He did put up 86 DraftKings points in his last game, but Chris Paul did sit that game because of rest. He got 40 minutes out of Harden and 86 DraftKings points. Paul has already been taken off the injury report and is going to play today against the Suns. And I think Chris Paul probably gets back to 30-plus minutes. He's been on a minutes restriction lately. His last few games he's been playing like upper 20s, 25, 26, 29. I think we see Paul eclipse 30-plus minutes here. Might not even have a restriction. So it's hard to pay this price tag for James Harden when Chris Paul is fully healthy now. Even in a matchup against the Suns, there are just other studs I would rather play. I'd probably project Harden for like 36 minutes and probably like 63, 64 DraftKings points. I think that's a pretty good projection for him. But on a slate where he's 12-9 and we have Giannis for 2K cheaper, Jokic for cheaper, it's just hard to pay that big price tag for Harden. So I'll be looking elsewhere at point guard. I'm not going to be paying up much here. I really don't think I'm going to be paying up at all at this position. The guys that I really like are in the mid-range and in the value tier. If Chris Paul is fully healthy and not going to be on a minutes restriction, 6,600 is too cheap of a price tag for Chris Paul facing the Suns if he's not going to be limited. So I do like Chris Paul quite a bit today if he's able to play, or if he's going to play without a minutes restriction. We know he's going to play, it's just we don't know if he's going to be restricted or not. Since he got to 29 minutes last game, I imagine he plays 30-plus. At $28 on Yahoo, I do like Chris Paul quite a bit. Played Darren Collison, I think his last game or like game before that where he was against the Wizards. Really shit the bed 3 games ago against the Wizards. Just 25 minutes and 10 DraftKings points. Haven't played Collison since then. Didn't play him against Orlando and didn't play him against Miami. And he did put up 39 and 33 DraftKings points against them. And this is a really good matchup for him against a fast-paced Pelicans team. But like I said, if Chris Paul is not going to be limited today, I think I'd rather go up $400 and get up to Chris Paul. It's $6,600. Monte Morris has been playing really well lately with Jamal Murray out, but his price is now up to $6K. I think it's hard to prioritize Monte Morris when he's $6K. If he goes out there and puts up 40 DraftKings points, you're definitely going to want him, but I don't think you can project Monte Morris for 40 DraftKings points. If Jamal Murray's out, I think you probably project him for like 36 minutes and probably like 33 fantasy points, which is definitely good at $6K, but not nearly a necessity on this slate. Probably could look other directions. There is some value that I like here. Before we get to the value, though, TOMAS, SATORANSKY, and MALIK BEASLEY, want to talk about both of them. SATORANSKY's been up and down lately, not been very consistent, but this is a really good spot for him against the Hawks. At 5,600 on DraftKings, over on Yahoo, SATORANSKY is $20. I really like him over here. He's around that same price range as Monte Morris on most sites. On Yahoo, Monte Morris is $4 more than SATORANSKY. On DraftKings, SATORANSKY's $400 less than Monte Morris. Or Monte Morris is $400 more than SATORANSKY. And I have a feeling people are just going to go to Morris. If Jamal Murray is out today, people are just going to play Morris if they go to that price range. So SATORANSKY might come in somewhat low on today, and it is a really good matchup for him. So I do like SATORANSKY quite a bit. Malik Beasley definitely in play for me as well. We already know Gary Harris is not going to play today, so we should get Malik Beasley continuing to start and continuing to play big minutes. He's played pretty much 30-plus minutes in the games that Gary Harris has been out lately. He only played 29 minutes against Minnesota in that game. I do believe that Harris was out. He did start only 29 minutes, but still put up 30 DraftKings points. I know he started that game against Houston. Gary Harris was out for that one, and Beasley played 41 minutes. Him and Monte both played really well in that game. He had 45 DraftKings points. He's a little bit cheaper than Morris on most sites. On Yahoo, Morris is 24. Beasley is 18. Beasley's 18 at shooting guard, so shooting guard where it's a pretty bad position besides Bradley Beal at the top, and we're going to talk about BRYN Forbes in a second. Besides him for value, there really isn't much to like, so Beasley in that mid-range at 18 I do like quite a bit. But now I want to talk about some value from the Spurs. So we do know that Derek White not going to play today for the Spurs, going up against the Kings. So this is a really good spot for Patty Mills and BRYN Forbes. I want to talk about both guys. I think both guys are really good value plays today. Mills is 4,100 on DK. Forbes is 4K. I think you can easily play both with how cheap they are. If you had to pick one, or if I had to pick one, I'd probably go with Patty Mills because I feel like he's the more productive player, especially if Patty Mills starts. If Patty Mills comes off the bench, then you could definitely play BRYN Forbes instead of Mills. But on Yahoo, where both guys are minimum price, I think they're both really good plays. Mills is $10 at point guard, and Forbes is $10 at shooting guard. I'm going to have exposure to both of these guys in plenty of my lineups. Same thing on Yahoo. If I had to pick one guy, I would go with Patty Mills. But if Mills is coming off the bench and you want to maybe play Forbes instead, you could definitely do that. But since White is out, I have a feeling that Patty Mills is probably going to start at point guard. It should see 30-plus minutes if this is a competitive game. He's been getting pretty nice minutes off the bench, even with White healthy, about 22 to 24 minutes a game. You would imagine with White out, the minutes creep up to the high 20s, maybe even into the low 30s. If Mills is in the starting lineup, then he should definitely play 30-plus minutes. And it is a really good matchup for him against the Kings. And same thing goes with Forbes. With White out for this game, I expect Forbes does a little bit more ball handling here, probably gets some of the backup point guard duties when Mills is off the court. So really like BRYN Forbes as well. He's been playing consistent minutes lately. You know you're going to get 30, 32 minutes out of BRYN Forbes here. But with White out, he could play maybe more than that, 33, 34 minutes. And also a really good matchup for him against the Kings, a fast-paced team. Spurs will be playing up in pace here. Do have some interest in the Spurs today, especially with Derek White out. That opens up value. And then obviously you could play LMA, you could play DeRozan if you want to do that. But talking about point guard value plays, those are the guys that I want to look to on this slate. But let's go ahead and move on to shooting guard now. So at this position, I do want to pay up here if I can. I do like Bradley Beal a lot today. At 9,100 on DraftKings and at $40 on Yahoo, I'm definitely going to be playing some Bradley Beal at this position. Great matchup for him against the Hawks. This is probably the most appealing game on the slate when you just talk about points expected to be scored. 233 total right now, just a 6-point spread. This game should be competitive and should be high scoring. And Bradley Beal has had a lot of success in this matchup, has done really well against the Hawks this year. And obviously no John Wall on the court. Bradley Beal is going to continue to be a usage monster, going to continue to play big minutes on a nightly basis. So if I have to pay up for one guy at shooting guard, Bradley Beal would probably be the guy that I would go to. On DraftKings, I don't really love DeMar DeRozan at 7,500. I think you can still play him. On Yahoo, though, at small forward, where this is always a pretty bad position, paying up for DeRozan at this position is probably going to be something I try and do as much as I can today because there's just not a lot of good small forward plays that I feel like you have to have on Yahoo. DeRozan would be the guy that I would prioritize here. I would try and fit him in if I could. On DraftKings, though, with like the dual position eligibility, being able to play guys at different positions, you don't really have to jam in DeRozan, but still at 7,500, I think he is a good play if you want to go to him. But now talking about value here, really the value here is the guys I've talked about. Beasley, Mills, Forbes, you can play all these guys at shooting guard, who I do like today. But that's probably it for this position. Let's go ahead and move on to small forward now. So at the top here, we got Giannis, 10-9 facing the Nets. I really like Giannis here against Brooklyn. If this game stays close and competitive, we should get pretty big minutes out of Giannis. He's definitely not been playing as heavy minutes as he has. Earlier this year, we were getting nearly 40 minutes a game out of Giannis. As of late, in competitive games, you really only get about 33 to 35 minutes out of Giannis, which does suck, but it's such a good matchup for him that even if he plays 33, 32 minutes here against this Brooklyn team, he could absolutely go off. He did put up 72 DraftKings points, had a 31-point triple-double, 31, 10, and 10 earlier this year against Brooklyn. It makes sense that Giannis has done well in this matchup. Brooklyn struggles to rebound. They're not a good defensive team. They're not good against bigs. Giannis, obviously, we know, can really dominate on the glass when he wants to. So I like him on both sides. He's the stud that I want to pay up for today. $56 on Yahoo at power forward. Love paying up for Giannis over there as well. I think he's the better play over Harden. With Chris Paul healthy, I would rather save the $2,000 and go to Giannis. He's the guy that I'm going to be trying to pay up for as much as I can. If you're not going to Giannis at small forward, his position's pretty bad. You can play SATORANSKY here on DraftKings, which I think is really interesting if you want to go to him. He has small forward eligibility at 5,600. Definitely in play for me. Taurean Prince, I don't mind at 4,700. He did start over DeAndre Bembry in the last game and played 32 minutes. If Prince continues to start, we should continue to see him play 30-plus minutes. And in a matchup with the Wizards, a really good matchup and a really good game total, game environment. Definitely can't consider Taurean Prince as a value at this position if we do want to go to him, but that's probably where I'm looking to for value. Kendrick Williams, however you say his name, he's been playing really well off the bench lately for the Pelicans. The Pelicans have kind of been running a very short rotation because Peyton, Moore, Julius Randle, Mirotic, AD, all these guys continue to be out. So we should continue to see Williams play 30-plus minutes off the bench, 31, 41, and 27 draft points the last 3 games. I'd probably project him for 30, 31 minutes and probably like 25 DK points. So definitely comes in as a good value if you need to go to him at small forward. I don't mind him at 4,300, even though it's not the best matchup with the Pacers. But let's go ahead and move on to power forward now, talk about this position. So at the top here, I do like John Collins quite a bit at power forward against the Wizards. It's such a good spot for him. He's had a lot of success against the Wizards. Through 3 games this year, he's averaged 40 DraftKings points against them, done pretty well against them. It's a really good matchup, bad rebounding team. The Wizards all year have struggled to defend bigs, and they've been one of the worst rebounding teams with Dwight Howard off the court. John Collins is coming off a big game against the Suns where he played a season-high 39 minutes and put up 61 DraftKings points. If Collins gets the minutes here, if this game's competitive and we get 32, 33 minutes out of John Collins, he could absolutely go off against this Wizards team. So I like paying up for him if I can at power forward. It's a little bit tougher on Yahoo because at this position I do want to try and fit in Giannis, but in lineups where I have Giannis and I can fit in Collins at the forward position, I'm definitely still going to be playing some John Collins over on Yahoo. I would be playing him on both sides today. But I do want to talk about Kenneth Faried. I like Kenneth Faried quite a bit here against the Suns. Great matchup for him. He's 7K on DraftKings. You can play him at power forward or center. On Yahoo, he's $24. You have to play him as center here. I still think he's a good play over on Yahoo. It's just such a good matchup. The Suns defensively this year has struggled against bigs all year. Just been a really bad defensive team against centers. This is a matchup we've kind of attacked all year, bigs against the Suns. And a guy like Faried that's very active on the glass. It's just a very good point per minute player. If he plays anywhere near 33 to 34 minutes against this Suns front court, should absolutely go off, should be able to easily put up 35 to 40 DraftKings points and be a good play at his price tag. With him being 7K, I hope it shies some people away from him because Faried's definitely worth his price. He's been so productive with the Rockets this year, and he's playing big minutes on a nightly basis. I'm going to have a lot of Kenneth Faried today. I love this matchup for him, and I think he puts up a pretty big game today and is worth the price tag. So he's a guy that I really want to play at power forward if I can. Dwayne Dedmon, I think you can definitely play at 5,600. His minutes are always inconsistent. You don't really know when he's going to get near 30 minutes. Most games he's been getting about 27, 28 minutes. If Alex Len comes off the bench and plays really well, then you only see Len sometimes play like 23, 24 minutes, which is a bit frustrating, but it's such a good matchup for Dwayne Dedmon against the Wizards. Like I said earlier, bad rebounding team, bad defensive team against bigs. I do like Dwayne Dedmon in this mid-range if you want to play him at 5,600. But value-wise here, really don't see any value that I love at power forward that I'm really going to be jamming in. So let's go ahead and move on to center. Quickly go over the center position before we end the video. So at the top of this position, you do have Nikola Jokic at 10,500 against the Pistons. This is a good spot for Jokic. He's been absolutely dominating lately. With Jamal Murray and Gary Harris potentially missing this game, we do already know Harris is going to be out, with Jamal Murray potentially being out as well. Should continue to see monster usage for Nikola Jokic. He should continue to be a very productive player. It's just hard for me to prioritize him on this slate because I think I would rather play Giannis for just a few $100s more. But maybe if a lot of value opens up, we could definitely play Jokic and Giannis together, which is something I probably will try and do in a few lineups. But if I have to just pick one guy, if there's not a lot of value and I can only play one stud, I think the stud I want to pay up for today is probably Giannis at 10.9 over Jokic. The center mid-range is pretty loaded today in my opinion, so I feel like that's one of the reasons why you don't have to pay up for Jokic here. You could play Faried at 7K. At this position, you could play DeAndre Ayton, who I like quite a bit, at 6,800. Also like Miles Turner as well at 6,300. I think he's one of the strongest mid-tier plays here facing the Pelicans. I like Miles Turner on Yahoo as well at $22 at center. Just love this matchup for him. Ever since the Pelicans lost Julius Randle and Anthony Davis, they put Jahlil Okafor as their starting center. They've been a pretty bad defensive team against centers. Okafor is not a good defender, not nearly as good of a defender as AD and Randall are. We should see pretty big minutes out of Turner here, and he should be very productive in this matchup against Okafor. Should be able to dominate. If we can get anywhere near 34 to 36 minutes out of Miles Turner, should definitely put up 36 to 40 plus DraftKings points and be a really good value at 6,300. Because he hasn't been really productive lately, he's been okay but hasn't been great. His price has dropped a little bit. He's down to 6,300 on DraftKings, which makes him really appealing for me, especially in a pace-up spot against the Pelicans. So those mid-range plays that I talked about, Turner, FARIED, Ayton, those guys I really like in that mid-range. It's probably one of the reasons that I'm not going to be playing a ton of Jokic at this position. Also, you got Denman, who you could play at center, who I don't mind at 5,600. Brook Lopez as well at 5,400 against Brooklyn. I do like as well on DraftKings. On Yahoo, it's a little bit tougher to play Lopez because he's only $2 cheap, or Turner's only $2 more. FARIED's only $4 more, so it's kind of hard to play Lopez over there. But on DraftKings, where you can play like FARIED at power forward, then you can play Turner at center and Lopez at utility, I think that makes a ton of sense because this is a really good matchup for Brook Lopez, and it is a revenge game for what that's worth. But I think that's it for center, guys. I think that is it for the video. So hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. Hopefully it did help you. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you click that like button down below. Make sure you subscribe if you have not already. And if you do have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section below or hit me up on Twitter at the DFS_GOAT. But yeah, guys, good luck tonight on the 6-game slate. We'll see you in the next video. Peace.